Hello and welcome to 5 Minute Magic from Creativity for Sale podcast, a quick fire episode sharing tips and tricks from the pages of the book of the same title. Yes, Creativity for Sale. Every week I'll be sharing one or two ideas that could give you an actionable takeaway for your creative career, your business, or just a food for thought for the weekend ahead. These tips are taken from the audiobook and you can find a link to the full version in the show notes. Today's episode is called Creativity Can Change Your Life. And it shares the story of how I went to Bali, went surfing, wiped out in the most spectacular way, and actually found a proper link in between starting a creative career without having much idea of how to navigate the choppy waters of the business, admin, clients, all of that stuff. So I'll leave you with my friend and audiobook narrator, Stephen, and I hope you enjoy this part.
It was a bright, sunny February morning with temperatures easily stretching over 30 degrees Celsius. The air was so humid that it felt like I was walking through a wall of hot air. An endless stream of motorbikes were whizzing up and down the road as I walked. When my bare feet touched the blistering hot black sand beach, it was a mere hour after 17 hours in the skies, most of it spent awake and giddy about the prospect of my trip. There I was, finally, on Canggu Beach in Bali, all kitted out in my brand new surf gear, heading out into the shimmering turquoise waters. The waves looked incredible, and I felt like a kid on Christmas morning about to take my new toy for a spin. I felt unstoppable. As it turned out, I wasn't. Within moments, the giant Indonesian Ocean waves knocked me into a total wipeout. I was submerged under the water, under my board, tumbling and turning below the surf in a desperate bid to get back to shore. It was a tragicomic performance, and just minutes after getting my breath back on the glistening sand, I wondered how on earth I'd thought I could pull off this kind of stunt. Admittedly, I knew it didn't look easy before I even put a foot on that surfboard, but I let my misplaced confidence and enthusiasm get the better of me. It was a sobering reminder that I needed a lot more practice if I were to get even close to surfing those big waves properly. Not that I really wanted to admit it at the time, but I'd skipped the crucial foundational steps that would have helped me ride the waves instead of wiping out. The basic prior experience and knowledge that I was equipped with wasn't anywhere near enough for the 7-foot-tall, fast-rolling swells. Perhaps predictably, that wasn't the only time in my life where action preceded thought. I've always had a tendency to jump headfirst into situations, be it bands, DJing, music journalism, or product lines. I even joined an ice hockey team before I could skate properly. In fact, my life motto seems to have been, why make a plan when you can work it all out later? Now, you might be wondering what surfing in Bali has to do with creativity or business. Well, the way I approach starting a creative business is a lot like the way I approach surfing, TLDR. I wasn't interested in the logistics of a new endeavour, nor keen on dwelling on the details of what was to come. If other people can do it, I often reasoned, then why couldn't I? This wasn't necessarily the right way of approaching either task, but it was the way I chose. It was the creative's way. With my surfing story, it was the idiot's way. Somewhere on that often uncomfortable journey, I realised that creativity can change your life. It certainly changed my life. Though not without learning a lot of lessons along the way, most of them the hard way. Sure, it rarely worked out perfectly for me the first time, nor the second, if we're being honest. But I always persevered with my new endeavour, and eventually I started paddling in the right direction, spotting the right waves and taking that leap up onto my board. I also found a way to appreciate that creativity is an ongoing journey of discovery, where you're always meeting new and incredible people, learning varied and valuable skills, and picking up useful and interesting knowledge. In the creative industries, everyone's experiences are different. It is a melting pot of different backgrounds, skills, knowledge, and life encounters, and that's what makes it wonderful. So here's the disclaimer. This book is written from my own personal experiences observations and knowledge. The information and advice is gathered from my own real-life experience of running a small creative business and navigating the choppy waters of the last economic crash, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the cost of living crisis. It's based on what I've seen, heard, and learned, and I fully acknowledge that what works for one person might not always or ever work for the next. But I would also argue that more often than not, there are certain things that most of us can agree on, and this book toes the line between the two. It doesn't matter if you don't know what or where you want to be right now. The important thing, as cliched as it may sound, is that you have the courage to start something. I'm not saying that you should do what I did and run headfirst into those epic barley waves without any idea of how to surf, but I am saying that you can never meticulously plan for every twist and turn of the journey ahead, nor will every part of it always be enjoyable. I can promise you that some of it will definitely suck. Sometimes you will miss the wave, sometimes you will wipe out, and other times your board will hit you on the head as you struggle to see which way is up. But in those moments, try to laugh at yourself and laugh at the situation. You're only one wave away from getting it right. Always strive to have fun in what you do, to stay curious and to learn from your inevitable mistakes. That's what creativity is all about. Whether it is creativity in your personal life, like learning a new hobby, or creativity for sale in your business life. If you keep these simple points in mind, creativity will change your life, just like it changed mine.